Around the Reel with your hosts, Aaron Carlson, Charles Lawson, and Steve Eaton. Boy, ain't no way, man.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
I was like, Jesus, that was a delay. What the hell is going on?
I have that Kitsap County internet, so I might know if I might can got it.
Yeah, that Kitsap County is no joke. Is that what it's called? Kitsap County Internet?
It's called Bob's Antenna. I'm hooked up to Bob's Antenna. It's like Bob's Road, from Twister.
I do know Bob's Road very well. Okay, here we go. So, hey, Steve, glad to have you back, buddy.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back.
Well, technically, he was on the last show
I never left.
7.5 minutes.
He was there for a minute. What happened, Steve?
Well, I actually muted at one point, and I was like, okay, I can hear some random shit going on. And then it turns out that my son was hit by a car on a scooter. Yeah, and he is doing, wonderfully for as poorly as it could have gone.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I clicked off, and then 5 seconds after I muted, and I was like, okay, is there some shit going on? Then my wife comes and she's like, you gotta go right now. So
I saw the door pop open, and you turned around and you made a face, and you came back, and I just saw your face click, and I was like,
yeah,
he was
what was that?
Yeah, he was out. I've never seen anybody out so fast. I don't blame you, bro. Yeah. But everybody's good. Your son's good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. I'm good. I'm glad. Oh, I already knew.
So,
that,
did the accident help or hinder? You say your son's good. Did the accident help or hinder?
I think we're right where we should be, which is whatever the hell that means. Yeah, he's doing okay though.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, as traumatized as you'd expect for not being genuinely deeply injured. So we're doing okay.
You're doing okay. Good. All right. Good. No, it's scary. Yeah, you gotta chain him up like a fucking dog, dude. He doesn't fuck around. You can't mess around. You can't. Oh, I love that kid. Oh,
yeah,
I'm glad he's okay. I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah, he's a great kid.
All right. Well, good. And Daddy's good. Mommy's okay. No trauma?
Yeah. We're all a little fucked up, but other we're trying.
No more than last week.
Only slightly. Yeah, I mean, by next week, I think we'll be as fucked up as last week. But right now, we're baselining.
That's right. Yeah, it puts hair in your chest. You know what I mean? You're good.
Yeah. If you could only put it on my head, that'd be great.
Well, the one thing I don't want to get into too many medical things, but so we have a chat. Us guys, us people, part of the production company, we all have a chat going on. So obviously, as soon as we got off the show, the whole rest of the day, we're like, "Oh my god, what about this? Oh my god, what about that? Where are you? What do you mean you're here? What's going on?" So your son is an active boy.
Yes.
And
I made I made the comment in the chat because of the fact that because of his active status.
Yes.
We weren't sure if there was more serious injuries or if it was just because this fucking kid just vibrates because he's so active. So I never did follow up and ask you, was there anything more with any of that, or does he go, everything was 100% okay and he just didn't sit still while they were scanning his cat?
It's a whole thing. I won't speak when he's not here to defend himself, but. We had if I could have been right over the kid, when they're taking an MRI and all that fun stuff, just being like, I swear to God, if you move. And the funny thing is, when they do those things, if they move during them, you can look like you have more injuries than you have, which is what happened. Yeah, I was like, it makes perfect sense. They just had to stand still, and I don't think he's able to do that. He's got the ADHD just like his daddy, and
whoever he is.
Yeah. Thank you, Chuck.
I wanted to come back on Sunday, and I should have done it once we figured out that everybody was okay. I really wanted to come back and do a quick recording for Aaron to put on the end of the show for that one. It's and just to be able to say only one 10-year-old was harmed in the making of this show. Only because he was okay. Hey, fucking haters, shut up. Don't hate me because I'm funny. Fuck off.
Yeah. No, the sad part was, and this is real, he was like, have you ever been hit by a car? I'm like, yes, actually, I have been hit by 2 cars for not paying attention on a road, both times. So, yeah. That's
Wow.
He was on a scooter. Were you by chance on a skateboard?
no. The first time,
First time.
I was walking across the street, and the second time I was walking across the street and didn't see them coming either way. And yeah, I got hit by an oxymoron. I was hit by a Dodge Ram the second time, and yeah, it's PTSD, man.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like an elf. Careful, they don't slow down.
right.
yeah.
No shit.
Right.
Wow.
Now,
Okay.
see, so you were hit by cars, though. Okay, so you were hit by cars because you weren't paying attention. This fool intentionally tried to jump over a moving car like he saw in a movie.
No.
Did it work?
Let's just tell the story correctly, real
Oh,
quick.
okay.
Chuck. All right. So a car was coming at me, Steve, and because
Moving
I
car,
watched Revenge of the Ninja with Sho Kosugi, I figured physics was involved here, and I knew I had a good vertical, right? So
Yeah.
Because of
you were
that
doing the
player.
math.
I thought I could jump over the car and clear it as it went under me. Problem was, she hit the brakes. So I hit the windshield and flipped over the fucking car.
You're like, if you just would have kept going.
If she would have kept going, I would have cleared it. I know I would have, dude.
You know
I
what?
was right there.
Still, same idea. I mean,
Yeah.
having some experience in this, getting up and over the hood
Yeah.
is one of the most important parts of dying from a car.
Correct.
So,
I did the
you
right
had the
move.
theory
for it.
right.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Thanks to Sho Kosugi. He's a badass.
Hey, thank you, Sho Kosugi.
He's a man.
We appreciate it.
All right. So, Charles, we got some guests today. Steve, you guys ready to
We
talk to some
do.
people?
It's not just Sausage Fest. We actually have somebody coming in
Yes,
to join
we
us today.
do.
Thank God. We actually have two people coming in.
We got real
A
filmmakers.
couple of wonderful filmmakers who have just done with a little bit of a run with the Gig Harbor Film Festival themselves. We're going to bring into the show. Oh, hang on. I just actually hit my thing because they were mean to me and they put in their company name instead of their names.
Mike and Allison.
Mike and
Hayhurst.
Allison Hayhurst.
There they are.
Hey, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Sorry for the delay. I'm better at that than normally.
All
Thank you
good.
guys so much for coming on.
Appreciate you.
Great to be here, and never been hit by a car, but the night is. We'll see what
Same.
happens.
Knock on wood.
I suggest you don't.
I
It gets
don't-
harder the older you get.
That's true. That's true. And I don't think I was really technically hit by the car. I hit the car. You know what I mean?
It still counts.
It still counts.
counts.
Does it make,
Well, that's a
did
bunch
it
of
did it make
shit.
you feel more like a man by the fact that you hit the car?
No, it didn't. I
Okay.
felt like I sucked. I was
we're
like, cut.
counting-
Can we do that again? I wanted to roll it again.
One more
I
take.
want
Come on.
to be noticed, if we're counting hitting the car, I have hit 3 cars, or 3 cars have hit me.
Fair
One
enough.
was on my bicycle, and I literally went right into the side of a van, like I was looking at the street or something.
Wow.
So I'm not an idiot. I swear to God.
Just you and cars have a thing.
They have a
Yeah.
thing.
We do. I'm not a fan.
Yep.
Well, he has issues with his feet as well, as far as just keeping him under him. But bless his heart, he's strong as an ox and will work all day long. And
Yes, he will.
Yeah.
Yes, he will.
Good bone.
he's always available for the right price, which is usually water and good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a good smile.
That is true.
All
Well,
right.
thank
so,
you both so much for coming on.
Yeah, we're excited to talk to you guys. So,
Yeah, Roger.
please introduce yourselves and we'll get started and see what you guys are doing and what all of this movie stuff's about.
Yeah. Like we said, my name is Mike Hayhurst,
And I'm Allison Hayhurst.
and together we are Evening Squire Productions, I guess. Based out of Queens, New York, and just kind of out there trying to make some stuff, get some stuff seen, out there kind of doing our best, I guess.
And yeah,
I
we
love it.
just premiered our first feature film that we made called And Through the Portal We Go.
That's beautiful work, guys. Nice job. Nice job. They did a feature, no short films, guys. They're already on my
And
good side.
we're going to have an elongated conversation because
Yes,
we're talking more about more something that's.
Yeah, I'm not a
You've
short
made
film
quite
guy.
a few shorts, though, right?
I did,
Yeah,
but
we-
it was in a fucking series though. See, it's a longer story. I can do it then, but
Yeah, quite a few shorts. We've done some kind of web series stuff. We've done a real mix of stuff, and this was the first feature. We kind of worked our way up to it, and finally had that world premiere back in September.
very good, very good. Well, that's
Congratulations.
congratulations. Yeah, it's a big deal getting that done. And now, is this your first feature that you guys have done?
Yes.
Yeah, and these roles. I mean, I've worked on features previously,
Mm-hmm.
in kind of crew roles and stuff, but no, as a director, this was the first.
And my first as a producer.
Awesome. Awesome.
Nice.
Okay.
So this was your first rip your hair out experience, that you were in charge of everything and you had to carry all the stress.
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
How did that
through it
feel?
with no ulcers or anything of that sort. So we'll call that a win.
That is a win.
No one went hungry, so also
Yeah.
very good.
There ain't nothing like ripping the training wheels off and shoving yourself down the frickin' steepest hill to say, okay, let's do this.
That's what it
Yeah.
feels like sometimes. I know. It's crazy. It's absolutely wild. Okay, so
Hey, Chuck, do you think we can pull this off? I don't know. Let me make a phone call.
Right.
Sure.
So who kind of got the ball rolling on this in the beginning? So you guys are you guys a couple? May I ask?
We are.
We
We
are.
are
Okay,
married.
okay,
Married
okay.
couple.
Very good. Very
Way
good.
to not assume they're brother and sister. Good job.
Yeah, I was making sure. You never
Well
know.
done, Aaron.
Yeah, thank you.
Proud of you.
So who had the idea to jump into this fucking movie shit in the first place?
Yeah, I guess we kind of collectively knew it was time to make a feature. I think we were kind of aiming for that in 2020, and obviously the universe said absolutely fucking not. And so I think by kind of coming into 22, we're like, hey, now's the time. What kind of ideas have we got? And we brainstormed for a long time, and we were, we'd get that seed of an idea, and then that idea would kind of expand, and then it felt a little too big for what we necessarily had available to us at the time. So then we'd kind of pull back, and then we'd start with something new. And I think we got down to the point we were recovering from COVID, may or may not have taken an edible, and then just covered a wall with post-it notes of like, okay, let's get back to square one. What kind of stories do we like? What kind of characters do we like? What do we have in our network, and what resources do we have available to us? Covered a wall in these post-its, and then from there came this story of a cult in the woods with a shimmering portal that may or may not take you to transcendence.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Okay.
It tracks, right?
I love it. I love it. Wow. Okay. I was able to watch about 50 minutes of the film. These guys finished it.
The whole thing.
But they actually told me the ending, so I kind of had to piece it together from there, which is cool. But we're not going to spoil anything, but I should be caught up on the conversation, I think. So let's talk about the movie for a minute, you guys. So the first thing I noticed about the film, excuse me, was the production value was very high. I really enjoyed how it was put together. So you guys did an excellent job there. And Steve, what did you think? Your initial impression of it?
I thought the same thing. I thought the production value was solid. I was wondering the whole time where you filmed it, but that'll be my first question.
Spoiler.
Yeah, for real. I thought the acting was wonderful.
Yes.
They really embodied characters that felt lived in, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Especially on a tiny budget. They probably had enough time to think about it.
Right. All right. Chuck, what about you, bro?
Well, I mean, I'm in the same. You guys made the film. It's actually, I really enjoyed it. I love the way that the characters came together and everything, how they all ended up working everything out. I love the way it was shot, and the same thing. I wanted to ask you about your location, and I'm also more curious with the way that this film goes. I want to know how many shooting days you guys actually pulled off to do this, because it's like, I mean, okay, so in the Pacific Northwest, without saying anything about your film, in the Pacific Northwest, it takes us like 3 months sometimes to film a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And our movie usually consists of 1 day.
Right.
And in 3 months, that's usually 2 seasons. And in the Pacific Northwest, that means either rain, sun, snow, or whatever is going to be of the day.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So I am curious about that. How long did it actually take you guys to shoot this? And then obviously, whenever you talk to your 3 actors, just give them big ass kudos because they did amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We shot this entire film in 9 shooting days.
What?
Oh.
Wow.
And what was the time frame though? Was it consecutive or?
Yes, we had.
We did 4 and then a day off, and then 5.
Oh, okay.
We did have 1.5 day pickup about 6 months later, just to clean up a couple of things with one new actor.
Oh, very good.
So yeah, 9 total.
That's super impressive. Good job, you guys. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
Wait, did you just say with one new actor?
So there's a landscaper role that plays that kind of constant, because we're in this time loop. You need those kind of touch points to kind of show us that this is the same thing happening day after day.
Right.
So our landscaper actor, we found a wonderful local actor to the kind of upstate New York region, Thomas Cambridge, who came in and just kind of crushed that slightly creepy outsider role. Banging on this door, being threatening and intimidating enough without, taking us into a new area of genre, I guess.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna backtrack now. I appreciate everybody's opinion on this, but I'm gonna go back to the fucking Post-its and stuff, because that's crazy to me. Because I have everything in my brain when I'm directing or writing something.
He doesn't outline. He calls me and we talk.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Correct.
I don't go that far. So when you guys were doing this process with all these Post-its, how do you not get overwhelmed by it?
I think there's a lot of color coding involved. But for a lot of it really is just sort of how we work best together, and a lot of that is like getting things out of our brains, because we don't read each other's minds as much as we probably wish we could.
Sure.
Actually, no, probably not at all. But yeah, it's just sort of we both have a background in theater, and so like some of those types of like brainstorming, devising games or things of that nature, like that lean towards improvisation and things of that nature, we're drawn to. And so yeah, like things that are more tactile and like putting up the Post-it notes and like being able to arrange it and then throwing half of them away. Like there's something very tangible about that in the creative process when it can live all up in your noggin. And I think it's just helpful for us to clearly see what we're building.
Okay. So
Speaking of,
start grouping together, like, these things kind of go together. Are they all the same, or are they kind of different?
Yeah. No. Okay. Okay.
Just to see it, it really helps.
Speaking of the workshopping, so to speak, to get it through, I noticed that the three primary actors were writers on the film. Was that from the outset, or was that more like you came in with an outline and a script, and then they just did so much work to it while you guys were on set that it became part theirs, or was it improvised?
So yeah, part of the early stages of this, when we were looking at kind of what do we have access to, I knew I wanted to work with these three actors. So Sarah Gurka, Joseph Limas, Taylor Dalton Curtis. I worked with them previously on a short film or a short play, or things like that. And so we really just started talking kind of thematically about just life and the world and this kind of late millennial experience that we've all kind of lived through, and post-pandemic, where are we looking for connection and community, and when everyone's kind of as connected as we are on the other side of the screen, we're also kind of missing the real and the tactile and all that kind of thing. And so kind of through these conversations, they started thinking of these characters, and they made little self-tape kind of auditions almost. Okay. They came up with 3 different characters each and would send them in, and so I would take those and we'd kind of take a look and okay, what's the right balance of these these 3 characters, or if we took a little bit from that one and a bit from that one, put them together, that would be great. And so from there I kind of built this outline. So day 1, I think we had a 30-ish page outline, but then dialogue wise they improvised everything on the day.
That's fucking amazing. Wow.
We knew coming in what, that first line or first couple of lines. At the end of the scene, we knew the last 1 or 2 lines.
We knew what needed to happen in that scene. And then,
what we needed to reveal in that scene, we knew. But then I just, we rolled 2 cameras and just trusted them in their kind of, all their actor skills that I don't have.
I fucking love that. You guys, I love that, right? The best scene we shot in the Horrorverse was Chuck and Ira, that improvised scene. I swear to God, I was so fucking proud of you guys. Like, I got a boner. Like, it was so good. It was so good. I
You
swear
still
to God.
have to outline, Aaron.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I was going to say, as wonderful as that sounds, they had an idea that was very direct, though. However, if we let our people start improvising, they're going to fuck up the whole universe we're creating.
No, it wouldn't happen. No, because we did have an idea. I explained to you and I explained to Ira exactly what I thought you two guys should be talking about before that scene ended.
And
you
dynamic,
guys, and they nailed it. And I was like, dude, why is that so much easier? Let's just do that all the time.
How do I waste all these hours writing?
I know, stupid. Anyway,
no, and I think one of the things you were great at, because we were filming on location, upstate New York. We, had half the crew in an Airbnb. We had the other half in the house with us, and so we really kind of lived the world that we had built. And like production design wise, Marcy Mars, our production designer, did an incredible job with so little money.
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
And so, by the time we were kind of getting into these scenes and these kind of, we're going to be here for a few minutes, we can kind of shoot the shit if you like. They were kind of in these characters and in this world by this point. They could just kind of respond naturally and do their thing.
But it does also mean there were like several scenes that were completely cut out that I think everyone just enjoyed doing and like improvising. There is a whole section of the film where they cut loose, I guess we can say. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. And we'd filmed out on the back deck this like massive fashion show of them going through all of the different wardrobes and like different, and it was very, very funny. Yeah. And I think there's maybe
just one shot.
One shot from that ended up in the final film. And so many of the crew have seen it and they're like, oh, but where was the fashion show? I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Didn't make the cut.
Didn't make the cut.
Aaron hates us when we say, "Yeah, you gotta trim it a little bit more," and he's like, "Screw you."
Yeah, I know. I don't like doing that, but at the same time, I get it. I'm getting it more and more now. As longer we do this, I understand. But that improv thing is fucking cool, and I embrace that a lot. And I know that Chuck and Steve do too. We're all filmmakers here, right? So I've said this before on many shows. I don't really dig deep when I'm writing something. I write one draft and I go out and it's ready to go. And I let the actors do their thing. That's my take. I don't mind if they make it their own, because I think that investment matters when they're able to, collaborate and put themselves into this project or whatever project they're doing, and they become more invested, and it seems to bring out, I don't want to say they're better actors for it, but they definitely have more energy, I think, and it shows on screen. That's what I think.
And isn't that more of a theater thing? Am I understood? Like you kind of can play games and like you really get into the characters playing different things onto themselves. I spent a little bit of time in theater, not a lot, but like it felt like that. Like when I remember when, and I'm sorry that I don't remember the character's name, but the one who was a child star at one point, and Mikey. It's like Mikey, thank you, Chuck, I love you. You could like I said, you could really feel that they're lived in, and
and I think that kind of child actor, when I kind of floated that idea, it was, it's a nod, like all these big cults. They try and get the
names,
celebrity
the figurehead, and I think I was watching the Nexium documentary, and there were a number of kind of celebrity people in there. So I think I wanted to have that kind of role as one of our three, and as soon as Taylor saw that, I was like, "Yep, that's it. I want to do."
That's awesome.
And he nailed it.
That's great. That's great. Man, I just am always just fascinated by the collaboration of filmmaking. It always grabs me, and it's really refreshing to see people actually doing that with their cast and crew. And I just want to say congratulations. I think it's an important part of the process. I really do. I feed off that. I can't do this shit without these guys, and I can't do this shit without those guys out there that aren't on the show right now. I can't, and I think to limit their gifts that they're giving you to make something that you guys had on Post-it fucking notes. Do you know what I'm saying? Is a remarkable thing. So congratulations on doing that. I think that's a big deal.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think one of the things we learned, I think, especially through this, is there's a leadership role as a producer, as a director, and you have to get people on board, and I think you have to be able to sell the thing in a way that's honest, and if we are all going to kind of put some skin in the game of this thing, especially on this low budget level, especially when none of us are retiring off this film,
right?
Yeah, I know, but you need that community, you need that network, and their skill set. I think great things are possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's about building that culture of collaboration as well. I think that's what, because my mentality as a producer is really like, my job is to make sure you can be successful, and that goes for everyone, whether like the sound guy needs more batteries, or you need a granola bar, or any of those things. And I think that really helps to cement the fact that we're all in this together, and your success is our success.
Right. I agree.
Since you went with that whole granola bar thing, I'm going to get personal here for a minute. So, Allison, Miss Producer, do you have to look at Mike once in a while and be like, "You're getting a little grouchy. You need to dial it in," because you know him so well? Do you ever have to do that with him, or is it just more of a, whatever you need, honey?
I think I would never say you're getting a little grouchy, but I think I would be like, eat this granola bar.
Eat it. Just hold it in your mouth. For at least
your blood sugar's tanking. Why do you say that? Because you just knocked that guy over.
Shelby, yes.
There you go.
Who? Go ahead, Chuck. Oh, sorry.
Okay, I was going to say, which one of you? Did you guys both have a film bug to start this, or did one of you guys more into film than the other? When you guys came together as in a relationship, were you guys both into theater or film? Who drug who into what?
That was my question. That's weird, dude. So good job.
I guess we both started in theater. So I was directing much more. You were performing, costume design, wardrobe, things like that. And my first job in New York 15 years ago was for a producer, doing a lot of Broadway stuff, but also a lot of TV. We had some films and things like that. He was a former agent. So many stories about him. But there was one day in the office, he basically said, "There's no money in theater. I'm going to teach you how to make film. So we're doing this thing for lifetime. I'm going to send you to Toronto for 3 months. You're going to assist the director. You're going to learn it. You'll figure it out." And that was the very first time I stepped foot on a film set. The first time I had anything to do with any of it, really. And then, got back from that. We then went down to Atlanta for another 2 months to do something else. Bought my first little DSLR that I could afford, and then started just kind of making films and dragged you into it.
Yeah, and at the time I was also in a puppet improv group, which was...
I'm sorry, did you say puppet?
Yes, it was like hand and rod puppets.
Yeah. Oh,
and they were over our heads.
That's fucking cool shit. Okay.
Very raunchy comedy from that group. But had some wonderful...
Please tell me there will be more puppetry in the next film.
Oh, I hope so. I love working with puppets.
But that's how we made our first short, was working with
Okay, I'm going to have to find that now. That's awesome.
Oh, sure. You send us the new stuff, but you kept back all the old stuff.
Buried the lead.
Yeah, we made our first short with our friend David Bizzaro. It's called The Pits, and it's 4 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
About a half of a live action avocado puppet, a half of an avocado who's going around New York City picking up things and trying to fill his empty pit. And then, spoiler alert, he gets to Bethesda Fountain in Central Park, and the people part, and there's the other half of the avocado sat on the fountain, and they hug, and that's the end of it.
They fit together perfectly.
they go back together.
Good for you.
Perfect.
And that was we shot that one day, and that was our first kind of experience with the festival thing, and it just kind of took off and found a life of its own. I mean, like kids festivals really enjoyed it, but then we got programmed with a bunch of like
food things, stuff. International festival, because there was no dialogue in it. But
oh, that's beautiful, guys. That's very good. Very good.
Well, send us that link too, because I want to watch that later.
I would love to watch that.
You need to see that.
No, that's fun as hell. So let me ask you guys something about like film festivals, because I'm out of the team here. I am so anti-film festival. I really am. And everybody who listens to the show knows this already, so I'm not going to go into it anymore. However,
anybody who listens to the show, listens to him talk, anybody walking down the street, or who happened to be paused at a stoplight would know that Aaron is not a fan of fucking film festivals.
I don't, but I'm trying to come around.
Sorry,
on
Mom.
it. I just helped out another actor of ours who was doing like a 48-hour film festival a couple weeks ago. He needed an editor. I jumped in. He's acted for us before, so I'm like, dude, I got you. It's totally fine. And I had a lot of fun doing it. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie about that. It was fun. It was fun to do. I didn't think they were gonna fucking finish the movie, but they did. And then when I got it, I cut that shit, and we were ready to go. And I think it's a really good little 7-minute movie, right? But you know, I've had a hard time understanding why filmmakers will take that route as opposed to maybe, you know, getting this thing out there and earning, you know, revenue back and making this like a career for somebody. I think the film festival thing worked at one point, you know, when Kevin Smith was doing movies. I get it if you get the Sundance, but like now it's such a weird digital age. I don't understand, you know, whether or not that's the right move. So do you guys have any advice for someone like me who is anti-film festival? Anybody? I mean, seriously.
I'd say one of the pros for me personally is one, getting to see other filmmakers work, and especially in like a condensed space where I can see and I get inspired by like, oh my God, we saw a film that someone had made a feature that they shot in 9 days. And I was like, oh, that's doable. We could do that. Okay. And now we've done it. But I think it's also the networking aspect of it as well, and just getting to know other filmmakers. Like we've got some wonderful contacts that we're potentially talking about making another feature with in the future. And it's just been, I think I find it very creatively energizing to be around those groups of people. And then especially when there's a festival that has an amazing community that follows it, like Gig Harbor Film Festival is a great one of those. Like it's not just other filmmakers sat in the theater watching your movies. Yeah. You're getting that immediate feedback and being able to be in that room and hear how, I mean, with this feature, I think I had a mini panic attack before the premiere because I was like, whoa, wait, I'm worried this isn't funny. I'm worried only Mike and I think this film is funny, and now I'm freaking out. But then the second we got that first laugh within the first 10 minutes, I was like, oh, okay, no, good. This isn't just I think it's funny. Because we've just been staring at it for 2 years. Yeah.
Right. That's great. And that helps me out with the networking thing for sure. I get that prospect, you know, but like when we were making our movies, it was during the COVID time and we weren't able to go to these festivals, you know, it was all like online shit. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that when we're doing it. And I think I kind of got out of the idea of being a film festival filmmaker because of COVID. I think we did The Outrider. When we got that up, we did like the Seattle Film Festival or whatever that was. And I was like, well, I didn't even get anything. I don't even know what the fucking point of it was.
I mean, it's like, you know,
paid money. We
showed
paid
people's
money.
pictures, and then they did everything online, and then it was like, wow, this is
we got nominated
boring.
for something, and then that was it. And I was like, we didn't even get to do any pictures or nothing. We didn't do shit. So I don't understand what the point was. And then I just kind of let it go. I'm like, oh, fuck them. I don't care.
Let's just put it on streaming platforms to get paid.
Yeah, really. But no, I like that. So here's the thing. You guys are on the East Coast. But you picked the Gig Harbor Film Festival where, you know, Chuck and I and Steve kind of are. Yeah. What's up with that? Please tell us more about the Gig Harbor Film Festival. Because we did that before. A 72-hour film festival at Gig Harbor.
Back in 2011.
Yes, at 11. It was a long time ago. And we haven't been back since. So please tell us more about your experience there.
Yeah. So that very first film, The Pits, the 3-minute avocado puppet film, that was screening somewhere in Georgia, I think. Just outside Atlanta, maybe. And Josh Hope, programmer for Gig Harbor, saw it there. And he slid into my DMs before that was a phrase, maybe? I don't know. And
he's trying to hook up.
He was like, hey, I saw your film. I'm programming this festival just outside Seattle in Gig Harbor. I'd love to screen your film. And that was my first experience of someone kind of finding our work and kind of, advocating for it in that way. And so absolutely. And we came out for that one. And we screened before the opening night feature, which I didn't expect. We picked up Best Short, like jury choice, director's choice, Best Short. And it just the community there, the filmmakers there, we just had a great experience. And so with other shorts that we've made, we've always sent them to Josh and just said, hey, like if it fits, wonderful. If not, we completely understand. Like you're juggling 100 shorts, like we get it. And so for this kind of first feature to premiere there, it just felt like a real kind of full circle for us, and a real kind of, it just meant a lot to us, that festival.
No, that's great, dude. Okay.
Shit, I wish I would have gone.
We get 2 free. They screen everything twice. Great venue, good Q&A afterwards, and some great parties as well.
Very, very good. Okay, all right.
Doesn't hurt.
And an RV where there's like always either mimosas or martinis. So
right, that's badass too. I love that. I fucking love that. What's cool though is that they reached out to you. So I guess when anybody's excited about something you're working on and reaches out to you, it kind of changes the dynamic, doesn't it? You really feel something.
Well, you go from that like, oh, am I the only person who likes this, to be like, oh, other people like this. They're connecting with this. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. And that makes it more, I guess that's the problem, Chuck. No one's ever reached out and said, hey, guys, we like your shit. We'd love to have it. We don't get that. Yeah.
Yes. I think it also matters.
Well, that's because they put themselves out there somewhere else, and where they were somewhere else, somebody reached out there. We have to expose ourselves to the community, Aaron.
Yeah,
let me start.
Right. Maybe you're right.
Nationwide, guys. We're gonna have to expose ourselves in Georgia first, apparently, and then
you need somebody who's ready to expose themselves. Yeah. I'm your guy.
Yeah, you are, Chuck. Yeah.
That is true. Everybody, you know this.
I'm just so stuck on trying to make a living doing this that I just skip right over that other stuff, and I don't know if that's a bad thing or not. And I'm being completely honest here. You know what I mean? I just want to get it out on platforms. I want to see people watch it. I want to see revenue come in. I want to see views. I want to see people enjoying it. I want to see the comments come in, whether they're good or bad. I don't give a shit. That means you watched it or you tried to watch it, and I'm cool with that, right? And then I think about the film festival thing, and I'm like, well, okay, everybody's going to probably try to sell us that they liked it, and there's like some people in the theater, and then it's over, and then I don't know what to do after that. I don't know what to do.
You put it on YouTube.
Yeah. But no, I think I don't know. I just don't know. I have a hard time with it.
I mean, he truly struggles with this.
I do. I really do. Because I saw your guys' movie, a majority of it. These guys watched it all. I mean, I've seen shit movies on like Tubi TV and Amazon Prime making a ton of money. Okay, you guys have no problem with making money on this, and that might be your plan. I don't know that, and that would be my next question. What are your plans after you do a film festival run?
I think one of the interesting things for me is how people respond to it, and then how we can then in turn kind of package it and pitch it.
Yeah, think about how we market it.
Yeah, in a slightly different way. So, we could have done those test screenings and then gone back into the edit. We could have, done all that stuff, but time and money and whatever else. And so I think this kind of real-time feedback is some distribution would be great. Some kind of platform where we could get some revenue from it would be great.
Yeah.
That would be an ideal.
Yeah,
outcome.
And I think eventually having even just like a limited theatrical run would be really wonderful, at least even in the UK, so Mike's family can see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
One day.
Yeah. I think that's. I hope you guys take that step, because not many people actually finish a film that's a feature and then have something that can actually like grab somebody's attention. You guys did that, so why not?
Yeah, and I think another kind of reminder for me with the festival thing is that to see that on the big screen, it's such a different. And we're realistic about those festival thing. Like people are watching it on their laptop or on the phone. Yeah. Like, it's a very different experience.
Right? Yeah, I agree. But here's the thing: this is the trick, and this is what Chuck and I decided a long time ago, right? yeah, we might have to spend $300 or $400 to rent a theater, but we can sell tickets to the fucking thing, and then we still see it on the big screen, and we get like 100 to 200 people show up, and it's great. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, well, we're thinking about stuff, and then we have a chance to sell merch and do all this shit and blah 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 blah.
Still trying to figure out what I have to pay for the candy.
Right. So
I think that just goes to show that there's like not one distinct path. There's not one formula that will lead to a film being successful. And so
Nobody knows any.
And Allison,
individualized to what your project is and the story you're trying to tell is actually what matters.
absolutely, and I applaud you for saying that, because there isn't just one way. That's the key. That's the key. Just because I'm saying my thing doesn't mean that's the right way. There isn't just one way. There's a million fucking ways to do this stuff. So
well, it's also like you mentioning like 48-hour and like 72-hour challenges and film fests of that nature. Like we've also taken that model and the short that we made a couple of years ago called Cook with the Heart that we're now developing into a feature film. That Mike's birthday weekend, he was just like, I want to make a movie this weekend. And this was still in the pandemic, wasn't it?
Yeah, just pre-vaccine.
So we're like, we've got our potted people. Like, what can we do? And Mike was like, okay, we're gonna pull suggestions for ourselves on the Friday night, Thursday night, and we'll write, and then we'll shoot all day Saturday, and then I'll edit on Sunday. And I was like, okay, but that's what you want to do for your birthday? And he was like, yep,
absolutely.
And so yeah, we ended up with some amazing footage with our wonderful friends Natalie Sullivan and Dan Titmus, and it's this delightful 14-minute short film about the 1.6% of millennials who've turned to ethical cannibalism as a sustainable food source. So the mockumentary where the main character's, who is an ethical cannibal, her latest dinner. Turns out he was a Michelin-starred chef who comes back as a ghost to haunt her and help her learn to cook his corpse better.
And that's
so
already been
badass,
made.
dude. I love it. That's
Yes, that's what's made.
Send that to me as well. I'm gonna.
We will send that to you as well.
That's so
The
good, you
short
guys.
for that exists, and yeah, we have a great script for the feature. So
Written by Dan Titmus, who was in the short.
So yeah, starting next year, we'll be fundraising and figuring out that one.
Yeah, good for you. All right, that's okay.
But yeah, those formats can also just be helpful as like a creative device for helping.
Yeah, and it was
just make something.
Like your latest episode. Like sometimes we just need the deadline. We need to like just make the decision, and like you make the decision, and then you learn something. And like next time you come up against it, you might make a different decision, but you're never gonna know unless you make it and you do it and you finish the thing.
Yeah. And that's, it's funny you're talking about that too, because last week's show, we were talking with somebody who really did a lot of 48-hour film festivals. And it occurred to me during that show, and I asked him this, it's like, wouldn't it be weird, like, if every filmmaker out there had that same kind of urgency every fucking day? Because I feel that way every day, because I'm trying to do this for a living, right? I don't have a day job. This is what I do. If you have that kind of urgency, it literally pushes you to, like, complete shit, which a lot of filmmakers have a hard time doing. So when anybody finishes a movie, I'm like, hey, good job. That's the hardest part. You guys did it. So what keeps you motivated to push through?
Ooh, that's a great question.
That is a great question. I think I'm one to kind of just arbitrarily set deadlines. I knew I wanted to make shoot the feature in 2022. I picked a date in October and said, this is day one. Like, let's just work back from there. And then you just kind of kicked into gear and like,
okay, yeah, sure, that date works for me.
Yeah.
You want to do it in October? Great. It's April. We have time to plan. You want to do it in October? Fuck you. It's September.
Well, that's the thing. That's the let's fucking go attitude. Like, you just gotta go. You just gotta go. And because everybody's going to sit around, I swear to God, and not do shit. We'll all talk about doing something, but until one person actually initiates the fucking thing, it's not going to move. And I applaud you for that, because that's important to do. Like, I think that's what a filmmaker needs to do, whether you're a director or producer or somebody. Whoever's in charge of that production needs to take that step and just get the ball fucking rolling.
Ready, shoot, aim.
Yeah. That's vital. It's vital. Okay, I've asked enough questions. Steve, what do you got? You got something for him?
I did have a question as far as the film seems soaked in thematic points. I was kind of wondering. So when you see them build, I mean, I kept thinking it feels like at least the first half, and I'm going to try very hard to not spoil anything. But did the basic setup kind of come from sort of just looking at life overall? It almost felt like kind of post-capitalistic kind of job performance where you're kind of repeating the same day. You're like, look, if you don't repeat it exactly as you're supposed to, there was a lot of that in there. And I guess speak to that. Is there anything that you were kind of getting at that was specific, or was it just general in life?
Yeah, I think there were a lot of kind of touch points for us, and that is especially one of them. I think things that feel kind of cultish without necessarily being a cult. So, things, Whole 30, these kind of, influencer culture, that on top of a lot of, just kind of other cult documentaries that I've been watching a lot of. Like all of these little references are in there. We may not really explain it or speak much to it in the context of the film. We don't explain hardly anything, really.
Right.
But yeah, I think it was also sort of conversations around like our systems of belief that either you were born into and raised within, and either you broke out of or you're still part of, and just sort of that sort of tug and pull around the things that help guide your decisions, good or bad, or whatever, anywhere in between. And also wanting to explore that in a way that sort of layered on that sort of elder millennial experience and sort of living through a lot of once in a lifetime events, air quotes around that. And yeah, just how
we're talking about ourselves.
How that helps shape and influence the decisions you make and basically your decision making process in general. And what would it take to stop sort of pointing that finger outwards at out your surroundings and at all these things, and actually point your finger inwards and say like, okay, but what have I done to influence?
Am I? It almost felt like there was a certain point where I was like, it felt like the characters were kind of saying, are we contributing? I guess the characters weren't doing it. They weren't thinking they were just doing it. Where you're like, okay, you really get the feeling like all of civilization really is a cult, all of human, behavior, and you're like, are we contributing, or should we just tap out now?
Right.
And I thought that was one of the points where I kept thinking about that, and I'm like, okay, they got that across, and without having to say it.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think there was taking all these ideas of kind of quite everyday things, quite normal things, and then we just kind of tilt it ever so slightly. And so what if, because there's so many cults, and they're all selling essentially the same kind of BS, and none of it's true, obviously. But what for our characters, what if it was true? Like, there is a shimmering portal, a glowing portal in the woods.
That was fantastic.
7 people have gone through it and disappeared.
Yeah, they're gone.
That's fact. Right. Okay, now have your existential crisis when, this normal kind of, the deprogramming of people would take place. Well, we can't do that because the thing is actually real.
Right.
Yeah.
Then where do we go? Oh, we're going to improvise the dialogue? Great. Actually, there you go. I don't have any answers. I just kind of...
But I love the ambiguity of it, too, because I think people bring their systems belief to the film, and I think the responses we've gotten thus far from just the 3 or 4 screenings we've had have been, people are taking different things away from it, and whether it's cool. Like, oh my God, like I was raised in the evangelical church, and like this is what it said to me, or people who are like, oh no, I see this is like my family unit, and like all these things, and it's been really delightful to hear how people have interacted with the film.
Good for you guys.
You even felt it with some of the production design. I thought that was quite cool, and I don't know if that was kind of more of a director choice or if it was more of a production design, but just like the color blue, I noticed at the beginning. Like it felt like it was more of a saturate blue, and then like with their outfits, and I might be making it up, I might be misremembering, but it was interesting because it made you think, oh, okay, this is the world in which they are, and then as that becomes maybe more desaturate, you kind of can see it loosening up a little bit on them, and it was a nice choice.
Yeah, very thank you. We what kind of lavender, periwinkle? Movie. I love that periwinkle is a color on this film.
They all pulled it off well. That's a hard one to get to.
Yeah, it really, I noticed specifically with that periwinkle, it's one of those colors where you notice it because it's one of those colors that's really easy to lose, especially in photography if you're not trying to keep it. You know, it was neat. Yeah.
Yeah, we worked with our color grade quite a lot to get the right kind of just the right feel for it. Everything in the space was quite tactile and quite, we thrifted so much stuff, estate sales. Marcy
just went out into the woods and pulled giant sticks several times. It was just like, this is perfect.
And was that a thing where you said like, hey, I'm thinking it's this color for them, or was it more like her going, I think we should go in that direction?
I think she came with that color palette.
Mm-hmm.
You I mean the Rajneeshi were kind of reds, oranges, yellows, so that kind of not monochromatic, but that kind of same family of colors.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of wanted that, but not that color.
More of the uniformness of it.
Yeah, so there was still kind of individuality within each one of them, but it's still very much a collective kind of color palette for them.
Well done to Marcy as well.
Yeah, Marcy.
Right.
She is a one. Yeah, she's incredible. What she can do with very little resources.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. How long was post-production for you guys on this after you shot it?
I ended up, about a year. I ended up doing the edit as well. I did meet with some editors, but the way we shot, because we were in this time loop, we would set up kind of the one shot. So here he is walking down the hallway, and like crossing stuff off the board.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Here's day one. Here's the second time you do it. It's like deja vu now. Oh, the third day. This is weird. And we would just run the thing.
Reorienting them to the time and space.
Yeah, but our actors were phenomenal in being able to just do the entire film back to back, and then seeing that come together.
Walking down the hallway every time, he's like,
but slightly different every time.
That was.
And eventually, he was just like,
they're incredible. But I was trying to explain the film to editors when I would meet them, and like, well, there's no script, there's an outline.
Mm-hmm.
I could do a paper cut of that. I could go through all the footage and kind of make a script, and then you could figure that out. But there's also kind of a look in this one take from one scene that's not going to work there, but they're in the same costume, so I can pull that into the scene at the beginning of that thing. And so it was such a jigsaw puzzle.
Sure.
I think it just felt like too much to kind of hand over, especially with the budget level we were working at. And everyone got paid. We paid everyone. We were adamant about doing that. But it's a very different thing if, like, okay, here's a 90-page script, 3 or 4 takes per scene.
Good luck.
3 or 4 takes. So, there you go. You do your job. Aaron, you're an editor. You could work through that.
Yeah.
We had just hours and hours. I mean, my first cut was 2.5 hours.
But I think that's what one of your strengths as a director too is, though, you're always shooting for the edit. So Mike's like, oh, I remember there was that one time he made that one look, and I think that'd be really funny here. And it's even like going through scripting notes. It's like, wait, where was that?
I get it because that's in Mike's head. I get that. So that's exactly how I
shoot.
No
that's not on a Post-it note.
No Post-it in the woods. No Post-it in the woods. But it really did just become that kind of giant jigsaw puzzle for me. I think we got a locked cut within a year, and then we kind of got into some VFX and some color right when both strikes were happening.
Gotcha.
So we got in touch with some VFX houses and basically post-production folks who...
Because this was a non-union shoot,
We were non-union,
Mm-hmm.
But they, their HBO show had just kind of went on hiatus or whatever, so they had some time, and so we could work out a kind of, hey, this is kind of the budget we have for this, like how much time could we get for that, and like, try to be as respectful as we could be, and it's it's stuff that's a little bit, I think it's an interesting story and a bit of fun to work on, so we kind of lucked out with the post team. And then we had a screening April 24 for cast and crew.
And throughout that, you were in contact with our composer, Judith Moy, who is a phenomenal composer. And she was constantly sending over these gorgeous pieces of music. which is also streaming now as well. You can listen to the whole score if you would like.
Whenever you stream your music.
Isn't that the best when you get music for your movie? Isn't that the best shit? I fucking love that part. That's the best part. I love it so much. I'm such a music guy. So when I'm editing, I'm using temp score all day long with my edit. And without it, I can't fucking do it. I'm just like, I couldn't make a movie without music. But
You gotta get the vibes right.
Yeah, the vibes right? And it actually, the composer we work with, it helps him to understand where my brain's at, like when I'm cutting a film. So it always works hand in hand. And I don't get stuck on the temp. I could give a fuck because I know that when I get the music that's original from our composer, I'm like, holy shit, this just changed the whole goddamn movie. It's so different than I thought. Wow. And then then that collaborative thing comes back. You know what I mean? And then it's just
Exactly.
gives me goosebumps and I get a boner and I just can't help it. It's fun. It's fun.
Judith elevated this thing. There's so much in that score. Just like the slight kind of, the wobbles and like the weird kind of flangey things and just like,
Not a musician.
I'm not. No, clearly not. I want to feel like
the weird,
this.
the weird flangy thing. That's not a musical term.
That might be a term. That might be a
No,
Oh, Judith.
I think probably
Yeah.
Mike.
I don't know. But so as we're watching this same scene for the 5th time in a row, she's the one telling us like, no, something's a bit odd, something's a bit weird with that score. Yeah, it just kicks out the.
It almost felt like an alien version of like a Thomas Newman score. I kept thinking the great composer, the early Pixar and American Beauty, but it almost felt like, as I said, like that with a little bit of a warble. So it's like, let you get comfortable, not too comfortable. We're gonna get weird with it a little bit. And I thought it really backed up the thematics really well.
Yeah. He was one of my references for her.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite cues that she wrote after they just at the very end of the film, they're kind of eating their strawberries on the deck or whatever, and there's just a kind of a moment of silence and then a chord, and you're not quite sure, are we happy, are we sad, are we good, are we not good, and it just screamed Thomas Newman to me. And she just
in the best possible way, like it felt like it, but not imitative at all. I thought. I mean, you can feel it, but doing what he did well without repeating it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and like you were saying, some of the references we've had in the film from other cult things. I mean, it's all of these kind of cultural touch points that we don't kind of explicitly kind of point our fingers to, but I think it is kind of baked in there. So yeah, really appreciate you kind of catching that and like picking up on that.
That's great. Yeah, Steve, you're a man when it comes to that stuff, bro. I appreciate that too. Yeah, it helps me
it's
when
weird,
I'm making
he'll
a
pick
movie.
up on it.
Right, he will. He'll get it. Steve's good that way.
I won't see a car coming, but I will pick up on that.
Yeah, fuck cars.
From Thomas Newman, 1999's.
And then boom, get hit by a car. Yeah.
Oh man. Mike, Allison, you guys are great. Okay, so what's your plan now that the film is in the festival run? What are you guys going to do with it, and what are some other upcoming showings that you're going to be having?
So we're still early days in the festival run of the film. Our next screening will be in San Francisco on December 8th. At the Balboa Theater, so excited about that. We'll be sharing that on our socials, which you can follow us at Evening Squire. And the film specifically is at And Through the Portal We Go, the longest handle ever. But if you follow both of those, Instagram as well as Facebook, all of our future screenings.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very good.
That's Evening Squire, everybody.
Evening
Lovely
Squire
work. You will enjoy this when it comes out.
Yeah. No, It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you guys. You guys are badass. I'm gonna be honest. I always tell Chuck this too before a show. I'm always worried when we get like film festival like films. I'm scared because I don't know if they're like the artist type, because I make like action movies and horror movies, I'm like trying to hit like a mainstream thing. I'm like, I hope I don't say anything wrong. I don't want to insult anybody. That's how I feel. But no, you guys are cool as fuck. I'm so proud of you guys. You made a solid film. I can't wait to see what you guys do. And thank you for being on our show.
Thank you. Yeah, we really appreciate this. And
Steve, watch out for those cars.
I will. I'll tell my kid too.
Yes.
Out of all the things that he's gotten from you, ADHD and getting hit, great.
I know.
Right. Hopefully the art will kick in too.
Maybe
There's
Jeanette.
so much more to go.
Yeah. I will make sure once the show comes out that all your information's in the show notes for everybody who listen that wants to follow your film and support you guys. So again, thank you both very much for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, you guys are great. You guys are great. So thank you. Chuck, would you like to close out the show like you always do in such a dramatic?
No, I don't really want to. I don't want to close the show. I just want to keep talking. Well, as I close the show, let's go ahead and do this. I am going to ask a very silly and personal question that I have. I have an idea of who the answer will be and who might raise their hand, but without calling each other out. I'm trying to figure out who the biggest nerd is, because you both got excited about the idea of putting Post-it notes on the wall. No, Steve, put your hand down. This isn't for you. This is for the couple. Not for a couple guys I talk to all the time. I'm talking to the couple. So when it comes to the two of you beautiful nerds who use Post-it notes and do all your workshopping that way, I can appreciate this comes from both of you. I'm going to ask you one simple question to figure out who's the biggest nerd. In your closet, who has their clothes color coordinated in the hanging rows?
Yeah, it's not me.
All right, there you go. My friend Mike is the biggest nerd of them all, which is okay, buddy, because I am too. So I just asked that question because, you all get excited when you guys start talking about nerdy stuff, and we all do because we're all giant nerds, which is okay because being a nerd and being part of that cult is actually fun and exciting.
This is the day.
This is the day.
This is the day. Oh, but to speak the truth, cults suck. It doesn't matter if you're too far into CrossFit, if you're an influencer, or you're following influencers, you're listening to fucking makeup tutorials that are making you destroy your fucking body. Stop doing it. Pay attention. Live your own fucking life because you are an important human being. And yes, Mike's mom. Be proud of your boy. He didn't swear once. I made up for it, so you have to apologize. But I won't apologize. Did he swear twice?
He did twice.
Son of a
At least
bitch! Did you swear in front of your mama?
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, well, shit. Well, now I'll have to go back and actually listen to the show for once and see what actually happened. But Allison and Mike, thank you for joining us today on Around the Reel. I appreciate you too. Send us all of your stuff, even the things you don't think you should send. Just don't make it personal. But just remember, brother. Thank you, Allison. And thank you, Mike. Everybody out there, remember, think hard, because you're thinking anyway.
We'll see everybody later.
Bye.
Hey, would you like to be a guest on the Around the Reel podcast? If so, just reach out to aroundthereel253@gmail.com. That's aroundthereel253@gmail.com. And remember, keep punching, don't quit, and follow your dream.